Hello, everyone. Hello, it is Friday, and that means it is time for Focus on It Friday with yours truly, Dr. Brandi B. It's 12 noon, and this is what we do every Friday. I am Dr. Brandi B. Hello, Toya. Thanks for joining. We are going to talk about a hot topic today, the reopening of schools and some of the anxiety that can come from it. So we're going to give a few more minutes for some folks to come on and join us for some fun. Hello, Auntie Louise. Thanks for joining. And then we're going to get started. I promise I'm going to try not to keep y'all 30 and 40 minutes. Y'all just have me talking, but it's so much fun. So much fun. Hi, Mom. Thanks for joining on our Focus on It Friday talk. Hello, Miss King. Thank you for joining. Got some people coming on in, and I appreciate you all for joining. Hi, Auntie Patrice. Got our Florida folks checking in. We are so excited that you all are here today. We're going to talk about managing our anxiety that is associated with the reopening of schools. So, like I said, it's a hot topic. A lot of talk is going into it. Should we open them? Should we not? Should the kids go back every day, some days, every third day, but never on a Friday? Just so many options, and everybody has an opinion about it. And so we want to talk about it too. Hello. Good afternoon to everyone. I'm going to give just a couple more minutes. I know your time is valuable, and I appreciate you for joining me here. But I do want to give some people a little bit of time. Some people say, I'm coming right out the door from lunch. I'm trying to get there as soon as I can. So I want to be on time to at least greet you all who are here, but I also want to give those others a chance to get in. Hopefully everyone is having a good day. We've had some great Fridays. I don't know that we've had any Fridays yet where there was a whole lot of rain. So that is actually very exciting. Hi, Miss Sharonda. Thank you for joining. Hey, Doctor, Cousin Karen over in Eastern Time Zone over in Georgia. Thank you all for joining us today. I think we're going to give just one more minute and then we will get started. So far, those of you all that I can see know me, but I am Dr. Brandi B. Hi, Auntie Wanda. I'm Dr. Brandi B. And hello, Mrs. Young. Thank you for joining. Hi, Frida. Thank you for joining. People are coming on in to discuss this very important topic, very hot topic, and it's an important topic. And it is something that actually affects me. As you all know, I have 3 kiddos who are 5 and 4. So they will be in kindergarten this year and pre-K. And then the baby girl goes to grandma's daycare. She hangs out with my mom during the day, and they have their own curriculum going on. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm Dr. Brandi B., your triple board certified child and adolescent psychiatrist, also boarded in pediatrics and adult psychiatry. And I help worried, overworked, overwhelmed, plain old tired moms of any child with any mental health disorder to get to a place where they can be encouraged, be informed, behave, and be successful, both in the classroom and in life. Hello, Cousin Tina. I'm sorry, y'all. My allergies are acting up, and so one nostril will not cooperate. But we are going to keep going and not let that stop us. But today we are going to discuss a very important topic, and that is the topic of opening schools. A lot of parents are having a lot of conversation about it. The whole country is having conversation about it. Hi, Priscilla. Should we open them? Should we not? Should kids go back traditional, which means face-to-face on a campus with a teacher, switching classes if that's appropriate for the grade level? Or should they be at home? Or should they be in a smaller setting where some person watches over several kids? It's just so many different choices, and everybody has an opinion about it. And as you can imagine, that can create a lot of anxiety. I know for instance, whenever the conversation would come up, I would just act like it wasn't going to happen. I knew that my kindergartner and my pre-K child would have to go somewhere. But I just was like, I don't want to make the decision. I knew what I wanted for them. Hi, Auntie Eva. I knew what I wanted for my kids. I knew what I felt best along with my husband, what we felt best for our kids. But we knew that there would be some difficulties with implementing that because they've been here with us since March. And I've still been busy seeing patients. He's been busy, my husband, seeing clients. And so it's just been a free-for-all with the 5 and the 4-year-old. And it's made for some interesting conversation and some interesting artwork on walls. Yeah, but we knew that couldn't go on, but we knew that we had to keep them safe. And we also had to think about my mom who keeps the baby. So she's an extension of our home. So whatever we do, she also does because she gets to see the baby every day. And so a lot of parents have just been anxious. There's been a lot of anxiety-provoking conversation, Facebook posts, Twitter posts, you name it. Church is talking about it. Everybody's talking about it. The government is talking about it. The healthcare personnel are talking about it. The scientists are talking about it. And so we want to talk about it. We want to talk about everything that is cutting edge, and that's what we're going to do. Now, when we talk about the word anxiety, we want to be very clear about what anxiety is. So anxiety is where you have overwhelming feelings of either worry, fear, just it overcomes you, okay? And so you're always thinking about what if this, what if that, to the point that sometimes it can be debilitating, meaning that you can't go on with life because you are so stuck in the what if. Now, anxiety just doesn't have to be about schools reopening. Anxiety can be about, will I be able to pay my bills? Which is a real life problem for some people, and not just during this pandemic, but all the time. Will we get into a car accident? Is my husband cheating? Is my child going to get murdered while he goes out with friends to the movie? These are all things that we can worry about, but it's when those things have been going on for greater than 6 months. Okay, and I'm talking about clinical definitions. These things have been going on for greater than 6 months, and they consume us. We can't control the worry. So like with me, I just said, hey, I'm not going to think about it. Well, that's not always a healthy thing to do. I knew that our school district, though, was going to make a decision. So for me, there was no reason to put a whole lot of thought into it way back in May, because I knew at some point the school district would have to decide. And then it would be a matter of, do I want to do what they are recommending or do I not? And so until they came out with a solution or their recommendation, I was just not going to put a lot of time into it. But some people, as early as May, were bogged down with information. They would wake up reading posts, sending text messages that were related to schools reopening, when in fact we didn't even have what we needed to go by to be able to make that recommendation. Hello, Miss Dodgy Hendricks. Thank you so much for joining. And Auntie Eve, I think I spoke to you. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you all for joining. So we're just talking about what are the criteria for an anxiety disorder as far as that means clinically. Miss Dodgy Hendricks is actually, I'm honored to have her here. She is the board president for the district where my children go to school. So you don't have to worry. I won't be saying anything about y'all's decision. I will be talking about everything from what can we do to manage our anxiety surrounding whatever the decision is, because I have people watching all the way from Philadelphia, in Georgia, and in Florida. So this is applicable and apropos to wherever you may be. So you need to be anxious or worried. You need to have these symptoms for 6 months, okay? So anybody who's worried now about returning to school, it's not going to be a generalized anxiety disorder diagnosis, because we've only been in this about 3 months. So that's not going to be the case. There could be some other things like an adjustment disorder with anxiety disorder. She says, Ms. Dodgy says she's a parent and a patient. I love you too. Thank you for joining so much. But I have to give you respect for in your capacity as our leader as well. So you need to be anxious and worried for 6 months, and it has to be worry that you can't control. So your friends are calling you things like worry wart, maybe even a negative Nancy, because everything is, well, girl, we can't go over there. We may get in a car wreck. Or, girl, I drove on the interstate one time and got in a car wreck. So you're not likely to get on the interstate. That is a type of anxiety as well. All right, concentration could be a problem. Concentration, just driving and you've missed 3 blocks. And we spoke about concentration and problems with concentration last week when we talked about depression. So that can definitely be a problem as well. and also feeling restless, just fidgety. Some people talk about having nervous energy. Gotta get up, gotta sit, gotta stand, gotta move. You know, you cooking. I knew of a lady who started sweeping. Whenever she would get nervous, if you were at her house, if she started sweeping, she was either nervous or it was time for you to go, and you needed to figure out which one. It could have been both. Maybe she was nervous because you were there. Who knows? But you could have that nervous energy, okay? And sleep impairment. We talked about last week, if you're waking up at 2 and 3 in the morning, one of the first things I think about is depression, because that's the hour that depression sleeps up. Anxiety, though, you have problems with falling asleep a lot, okay? You could also wake up with anxiety in the middle of the night, but a lot of times your mind is just worrying, going. What if this? What if that? What are the schools are going to open? And so you find that you cannot sleep, okay? And then the last thing is tension in your muscles. A lot of muscle tension in your neck, headaches, okay? Headaches can oftentimes be a sign of tension and anxiety, worry, stress, okay? A lot of people just call it plain old stress. All right, so that's the criteria. So that is what we're talking about when clinically we say that someone has a generalized anxiety disorder. Now, what are some tips, though? Because that's what you came here to find out about. What are some tips that you can do to reduce your anxiety that are specifically related to the reopening of school? And I have 14 Dr. Brandi B's B tips, B-E tips. And I'm going to read them to make sure I don't miss anything. I want you to be calm. Now, I know what you're saying, well, Dr. Brandi B, that's easier said than done. But that's the first thing you need to do. Notice how I just said, there's nothing I can do about that right now. May and June, the school district has to make a decision, okay? The superintendent, his board, however that works out, I'm not sure of those details. But somebody's got to come out and say something for the system. And so until that time comes where they say something, I'm just going to be calm, all right? And then when the decision comes, I can make a decision about what's best for me and my students who are in the district. But first, be calm. Don't some people tell you, take a chill pill? Be calm, all right? Number 2, be honest with yourself and say, this is happening. Because whether or not we want to, this is happening. This is our new norm. And so we need to be honest about that. If I had continued past, now my children, I think they only do this when I'm on with you all. They must like you all. Hi, Dr. Nkirika, thanks for joining. So we need to be honest and say this is happening. If I had continued past June and July, as I was behaving in May, as if it were not a big deal, then that would be unusual, right? You've heard the saying, denial is more than a river. It is. I'm in denial at that point. So we've got to do something. After we are calm, the only reason to be calm is to get your thoughts together. But then you've got to be honest and say, this is happening and I need to jump into action, all right? The third thing is to be educated. That is so very important. Like I said before, there's all kinds of commentary about should schools open and should they not. Really, you can't be concerned about the schools. And I know that sounds awful, but you need to be concerned about yourself. And though I don't have that as a number, but be in your own business, okay? Mind your business. If the school sets up something and someone else makes a decision about themselves, just stick to what is concerning to you. But you got to be educated. There were some things that I was confused about. And so I picked up the phone. There was a phone number on the email that came from my children's school, and I called it. And I thought I would get a secretary, and I was okay with that. I was fine with that. And it actually happened to be the principal. And I said, well, let me introduce myself and let me ask these questions. And so I got all of my questions answered, and I am pretty certain that they are accurate answers because I got them from, as people say, the horse's mouth, okay? So be educated. As you do all the time, watch where you're getting your education from, your information from, because everybody that is coming is not bringing you accurate information, and it needs to be up to date. And it needs to be up to date for the fourth reason, which is to be flexible. If we have learned nothing else in the era of this COVID-19 pandemic, it is that we need to be flexible. Information changes moment to moment, day to day, week to week. And so you just need to keep your ears and your eyes peeled so that you are able to change with those recommendations. Here in Birmingham, our district has said that we will be doing remote learning. Okay, remote learning for the first 9 weeks. Well, that already lets me know that I need to be flexible about what's going to happen in the second, third, and fourth 9 weeks. I can't make any judgments about what's going to happen then, but I can only make judgments about what's going to happen now. All right. And so that is important to know because I need to be educated. I need to be flexible. And I also need to be calm. I don't need to be concerned about what's going to happen after Christmas. I just need to be concerned about what do I need to do. I don't know why the technical difficulties today, but we're going to get through this. Hang in there with me. I'm going to hang in there with you all. You need to be committed with your decision, okay? There's going to be a mother of a 13-year-old and a 6-year-old somewhere. And her state is going to say that you can leave your 13-year-old at home with a 6-year-old. And her neighborhood is going to be safe. And there are going to be elderly people across the street and in the back who can see all the comings and goings. And she's going to be a single mother. And she's going to have to go to work. And she is going to make the decision that it is okay to leave her children at home alone with all these different things that I mentioned so that she can go to work. And all that you're going to need to say is, God bless you. All right. You need to be okay with your decision likewise. That is her decision to make. And so long as she is in compliance with the rules of the state, of the governing agencies, I think that it's important to be okay with your decision and recognize that other parents have to be okay with theirs. Your situation is not like everybody's. As I mentioned last week, we have resources, we have a lot of help, and both my husband and I are working from home. So while it would not be ideal if we could not get other people to help us, we could figure it out because we are already in the home. But I think it's very important to be committed to your decision. And if when people are asking, well, girl, what are you going to do? If you need to say, girl, we haven't quite figured it out yet. I'm not an advocate of telling lies, but you haven't figured out all the details. And so if you know that there is another negative Nancy or someone who's just trying to tear apart and bring out all the things that could happen or could be wrong with your plan, you may just want to keep it to yourself. All right. Be okay with being different. And it goes into being committed with your decision. Your decision may be different from some others, and that's okay. You've got to be okay with doing what's best for your family. Otherwise, you will constantly find yourself biting your nails trying to figure out, well, did I do the right thing? Is this right for us? Yes, it's right for you. And you make decisions every day. Do I go left? Do I go right? Do I put on the brown shoes or the black shoes? You're making decisions every day. You are the kid's parent. You've made decisions through their life to get them to a point where they are in school. You can make this decision too, and don't let anybody convince you otherwise. All right. Now, if you've needed help making decisions, you probably ought to want to call on some of those people now. But if you have been the sole person making decisions for your student for all of their academic career, you are probably doing the right thing now. Be focused only on you and your family. Again, mind your business. If you are minding your business only, it is much less likely that you are going to be anxious about what someone else is doing. Now, if these are your grandchildren and they are 6 and 7 and someone is leaving them at home, or 6 and 3 and they're leaving them at night, nowhere near school hours, that's a different situation. You may want to get involved and you know what to do to take care of that. But if it pertains to you in school, be focused on you. All right. Be focused on the things that you can control. If your school district has said everybody comes back to a traditional setting, there's nothing you can do about that. You apparently at this moment in time cannot make the school district change their mind. You can do two things. You can be calm, right? And you can be flexible. And if you pray, you can start praying because hopefully they may change their decision because things are always changing. But if they've decided that you're coming back to a traditional setting, then what you need to do is say, okay, what does that mean for me and my child? Either you're going to send them back or you're not. That's the first step. And if you're adamant that you're not sending them back, then you need to figure out, okay, what's the next step? Am I going to homeschool them? Does my state offer some sort of virtual or remote learning? You need to look into those things. But continuing to complain about the fact that your system or district chose traditional settings does you no good. And it definitely is going to increase your anxiety, and it even may make you angry. It causes you to get on Facebook and post things that you may not have otherwise posted, and now people are looking at you sideways. So again, be in control of the things that you can control, and the things that you can't, let them go. Now, I just want to stop right here and remind you that we're talking about school reopening, but these are things that you can use in whatever situation. First, be calm. Then ask, can I control it? And then ask, what can I control about the situation, and work on those things. Hello, Dia and Jeremy. Thanks for joining me. All right, be a planner. Now, you're going to say, well, you just told us to be flexible. Yeah, you got to be flexible, but you still have to have a plan. All right, so, for example, my district has chosen that everyone will be remote learning this first 9 weeks. So I need to have some things in place to help my 5 and 4-year-old kindergarten and pre-K students, because they definitely cannot sit there and do that on their own. So I do need to plan for that to happen, and then I need to let whoever will come and sit with them or whatever we're going to do know that, hey, the second 9 weeks, I don't know what's going to happen. So, you know, we can't make a career out of this because I don't know what the next 9 weeks will hold. Preferably coronavirus will be gone, and then this will all be, you know, a conversation we won't have to have then. But we just don't know. So we must plan, but we also must be flexible. You must be your child's advocate. I've had patients to tell me that, and I work pretty much all over the state of Alabama. So it's no particular system if I say a patient told me something. I mean, literally, I work all over the state. But a parent told me that her child who has autism and needs some help with handwriting that requires the teacher to actually touch his hand. She has been told that in that district, the teachers will not be able to touch the students in any capacity. So that means that that student will not be able to get help with his writing. I mean, this was when all of this very first started, and so I didn't know what to tell her. That I'm not an education specialist. But I did tell her to be calm and then just to kind of wait and see what would happen. But if your child needs that, you need to be in communication with the school about how they plan to still make that happen remotely or in the classroom. Because this particular district was going back to a traditional setting, but the teachers were not able to touch the kids or the aides or any employees. So just be your child's advocate. If your child has a 504 or an IEP or needs some special assistance using the restroom, I mean, it could be all sorts of things that kids need in the schoolhouse. Please try to work with your school, but also be patient and understanding of the fact that they don't know either. And I say that with as much love as I can pull out of me. Nobody knows, because as I understand, the last pandemic of this nature may have happened 100 years ago. So there are not many people who are still living who can even say that we've gone through this before and this is what you need to do. And even if they are alive, technology and all of these things make the presentation so much different that nobody has any real answers from experience. And so we're really figuring it out as we go. So be patient, but be persistent and be your child's advocate. All right, we're coming down to the end. Be in communication with your child. So I mentioned that my children are 5 and 4, but when they are in the presence of someone who does not live with them, they still know to get a mask, okay? So you need to let your child know if they're going back to a traditional setting, and if your school is not mandating it, that there may be children with them in the classroom who do not have masks and won't have them and may have some negative things to say about them. And so those children, your children, need to hear before they ever get to school, listen, people may say that you don't need a mask, and this is how I want you to handle that. You need to role model and play this out with your kids before they get to school, because what you don't want is your kid to get to school with that mask or that shield And they take it off in panic because the other kids are laughing at them. So I want you to make sure that your kid has confidence enough to carry out the wishes that you and your family have set for them, because everybody's family will not be the same. All right. And remember, we talked about that. Be okay with being different. And so we need to make sure that our kids have that same state of being okay, because bullying is real. All right. And it happens in the school, both from teachers and from other students. So we just need to make sure our kids are equipped with that. And the other thing is that we need to talk to our kids about what they understand about coronavirus. My 5-year-old said, Mommy, I'll just be glad when it's gone. And I said, baby, I will too. But for now, this is what we have to do. We have to wear our mask. We have to wash our hands. And we have to stay, at least 2 of our body lengths away from other people. So he understands that. And make sure that your kids understand as well. All right. Be aware of your feelings. As I started out, this can be all overwhelming. And so if you feel that you are getting to a point where it is too much for you, then you may need to talk to someone, or you just may need to do what number 13 is and be in silence. I hinted at this before, in keeping your decisions to yourself, but I also really want to encourage you to step back, step away from the TV, step away from your friends, especially the negative ones who are always, presenting you with articles, and they want to talk about the recent thing. And can you believe my school district did this? Well, we've been talking about your school district doing that for the last 3 weeks, because that's when they told you. And so nothing's new about that. We don't need to rehash that. Be silent. Be silent. That's an important thing. Just again, all the time, just be silent. Step away from the TV, step away from Facebook, step away from especially the negative people, and just be silent and be confident in your decision. And then the last thing is to be relaxed. All right. So coronavirus is real, right? When this first started, it was March 13th. It was a Friday, March 13th. I left my office and I didn't know what was going to happen. Saturday, I was on my way to a wedding when I got a text message from the school district that school was going to be out, starting that Thursday. School would be out. They would go Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and it wouldn't come Thursday. I didn't go to church Sunday, and the rest is history, folks. And so we went from knowing about people that were infected, maybe stars, to now I know people whose numbers are in my phone that are affected. So coronavirus is really, really, really real. People are dying. I think we're probably around 145,000 in this country. But many, many more people have been infected and have been sick in a variety of different ways. Some needing hospitalization, some needing, just having significant coughs, which I understand are not pleasant. So please take it real. Please wear your masks. Please wash your hands. And if you are wondering, should you put on a mask? If that person does not live in your house and you would not want them to see you naked, your private parts. You don't want them to see your private parts. Consider your nose to be a private part right now. If you see them and you don't have on your mask, run and get it. If they could peep around a corner and see your nose, run and get your mask, okay? I keep mine in the car. I keep it in the house, in the car. But if you wouldn't want them to see you naked, you don't want them to see your nose. So remember, put it over your nose, put it over your mouth. Your beard or your chin really don't need a mask. If you want a shield, that's fine too. But we must do what we need to do to stay healthy. All right. Be relaxed. Still party. We must party, right? We got to party. We got to have some fun. But you must party a little bit different. A drive-by is always a good way to celebrate. All right. We still need to shop. Y'all know I like to shop. But we got to do it online, or we got to do it safely. We got to wear a mask. And we still need to see our friends and family. But that looks different. Now we're doing it on Zoom. So just be careful out there. Follow Dr. Brandi's B tips. And I'm just going to summarize them for you real quick. Be calm. Be honest about yourself, about what's happening. This is real. As my 5-year-old says, this is not a drill. This is not a drill. It is really happening. School is going to open back up, and you need to be okay with whichever way your district has chosen to do it, or with what you want to do for your family. You've got to be educated, all right? No facts. Stop talking to people who are not known to spread facts. They're going to upset you and make you worry. You want to be flexible. All right? Because what we have this 9 weeks, we may not next 9 weeks, and vice versa. You want to be committed to your decision for your family. You want to be okay with being different. We're all different, and that's what makes it so wonderful. You want to be focused on you and your family, which means mind your business. All right? You start getting into other people's business, you're more likely to get a little bit worked up and anxious. You want to be focused on the things that you can control. So if your system is going back teetotally traditional, you can't do anything about that. You need to figure out step 2, because they've chosen step 1. Go on to step 2. You want to be a planner, because you've got to have a plan to execute whatever things, even if to go back to a traditional setting. You now know that you need to stock up on masks and whatever else is required, all right? But while being a planner, don't forget to be flexible, to allow some flexibility, okay? You want to be your child's advocate, especially if your child has any special needs. You want to be in communication with your child to make sure that they know that what you are doing and what you've asked and instructed them to do is the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do, right? As parents, we make a lot of mistakes, but we're out here doing the best that we can. And you need to let them know about coronavirus and why it's so important to stay back from people and wear masks, because they can understand. And then you need to let them know what your wishes are for them to do. You need to be aware of your feelings and recognize when you're in too deep. Take a deep breath, a step back, and be in silence. Be in silence. And that's just not to be quiet. That is to remove all the talking and chatter around you from social media and from other people, right? There's a term going around, toxic people. And certainly, people can be toxic. And, you know, people sometimes don't even intend to be toxic, but they can wear you out. And it's okay to just say, you know what? I can't answer the phone right now. It's okay. I want somebody out there to hear, it's okay to not answer the phone when you see that call, because you need to take care of yourself first, right? Just like if you've ever flown, they tell you that if the cabin loses pressure, they said the masks are going to fall down. And if you've ever flown and you listened, they say, put your own mask on first. And that is because if you pass out, the little travelers with you will never get the help that they need. So take care of yourself in all of this. And then finally, remember to be relaxed. Whatever it is that you did pre-COVID, do it. Still do it. But you've got to do it differently to keep yourselves safe. We will make it out of this. This will be a thing of the past. 5 years from now, we'll get to tell all the best stories about how the year 2020 came and we thought it was going to be great. And it's still great, because if we make it out of this with all of the family that we brought into this year, that's going to be a great year, right? But in order for that to happen, especially related to COVID, we've got to take care of ourselves. And that's from an anxiety perspective and from a public health perspective as well. Miss Patrice, Auntie Patrice says she is so glad that she is a retired teacher. I think you just retired this last year, so you just got out in the nick of time, but you were a great teacher, and so I'm sure that you would have been right there with the team helping to implement all of the decisions that were being made by your school district. So we thank you for your service, and I think you taught little bitty kids, so God bless you. And thank you, Miss King, for your kind words. She says, amen. Dr. Brandi, I know some personal who had the virus, and I know a lady that died from it. People do not think that the virus is real, but it is definitely real. And unfortunately, this thing has the potential to keep coming closer and closer to us. So don't be the one in your family who has your family praying over you. All right, wear your mask. And again, it sounds, you know, it's crazy to think about it, but if you could think about it this way, if you would want that person to see you naked, you don't want them to see your nose, put on a mask. All right. Hi, Auntie Brenda. Thank you for joining. Please share the video with your friends and your family. Hopefully this is some good information, and we certainly want other people to know that we're here every Friday at noon. And I'm going to keep doing it until y'all say that is enough, lady. We are done. But again, as I close, I'm Dr. Brandi B, your triple board certified pediatrician, adult psychiatrist, and child and adolescent psychiatrist. I help worried, overworked, overwhelmed, and plain old tired and confused, and now anxious moms gain some clarity about what's going on with their kids so that they can help them behave in the classroom, be well, and also to be successful both in and out of the classroom. I look forward to talking with you all next week. I know it's going to be a fabulous one, and I want you all to go ahead and start using these B tips, if you will, when you are going about your daily life. Just say, hey, calm down, take a step back, take a chill pill, because really, when we come out on the other side, we will say, you know what, we got all worked up, all worried, and had a nervous breakdown. Not really sure what that is, but you don't want to be the one to have to find out what it is, all right? So, you know, I love you all. I will see you all next week. If you have any questions, drop them in the chat for me. I will do my best to get back around to them and share and tell others that we want to see them next week. Y'all have a good weekend. Bye-bye. Wear your mask.